Well, remember those COVID days when we're always getting those fat checks and those stimulus checks? Well, the government does that every year. They just don't call them COVID checks. But they give out $3 trillion. Now, during COVID, it went up to about $3 or $4 trillion. Now, look at this graph here. This is from the Federal Reserve that keeps track of what they call stimulus checks are really by the government, they're called transfer payments. That's when they're getting money from taxes and transferring the money not to the government but back to people. So this transfer now is up to $2.9 trillion for the last month of 2023. So now we're in the first quarter of 2024. So you still got $3 trillion. Now what is that? That's an average of $14,000 for every adult in the United States. And how do they get that out? This is something very interesting. You think it all goes to poor people? Nah, no. All these grants and they give out, it's not. You know how much goes to poor people? Just 30% of all this money that goes out back as grants, or they call it all kinds of different things, direct payments, and I don't even know all the what they call them, but the money that goes back into people's pockets. So only 30% go to people who are poor. That's what, like $40,000 or less. Now that's the low bottom fifth of the country, $40,000, and they get 25% of that $3 trillion. Okay. The next income group, which is 40,000 to 60,000, they get about 25%. So these two people or families or individuals, from $60,000 down to zero are getting 55% of the money that goes out to people. Okay. So that's 55%. That means 45% is going to people making over $60,000 a year. So look at people making $60,000 to $90,000 a year. They're getting 20% of all the money that the government gives out in grants. Not poor people. People making $60,000 to $90,000. But wait, there's more. That's 20%. Now listen who gets 15%, which is a big chunk of dough. Now that's for people making $90,000 to $130,000. So they're getting 15% of this grant money where the government has. So in other words, the people making $60,000 or less are getting 55%. The people making over $60,000 up to $130,000 are getting almost 40%. Now, the people making $130,000 or more are getting 10%. That means you're making $130,000, you're making $1 million or whatever the heck, they're still getting 10% of all the grant money. Okay? Why? Well, I'm sure they have their reasons, but it still doesn't make sense to me. So, we should get it to people who really need it. Why aren't people making little money getting most of the money? Well, they barely are. So 55% of those making under $60,000 are getting part of that. So now, see, these programs are all the time. So here's the best ones that Biden has. Now, this is part of what we call a LESCO Meta Grant Report that covers my most popular answers. And this report is about 60 to 100 pages of all the best sources for depending on what. So if you want to know about the new grants that Biden did that are really this year, man, I'm going to copy this list and put it in the description below, okay? And it's things for getting a better job. In other words, you could get a $40,000 grant to train to get a $100,000 job. Not go to college and pay $40,000 a year, but get a grant for $40,000 a year to get a $100,000 job. And that's what's going on in our country. And there's ways to do that. And I have some examples here in Detroit, how they're paying people $15 an hour to get a certificate. and a job at $25 an hour. No, this is mostly aimed at people without college degrees, because that's what we have to do, is upgrade the skills of people without college degrees. So we have this. Now here, even you can be a caregiver and get $6,000 grant to be a caregiver. Local community college has a lot of this stuff. And also findhelp.org. If you go there and you put in job training, and you'll see dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds, depending on where you live, of free training for you to get a better job. Okay, now here's free dental care for more millions of adults. And this is another brand new program that Biden started. So that's what I'm doing. Besides, this overlays on thousands and thousands of more programs. But the White House just announced something that now seniors can get more dental benefits. And there's a link there that will tell you how to get it. And if you're not eligible for this, because most of this is seniors, you go to needymeds.org, and they'll show you how to find free and low-cost dental care, where you live. So that's a very important website there. So it'll all be in the description below this video. Okay, home repairs. Biden has a wonderful program now. They help you buy new appliances and fix up your home, make it weatherization, and it's just starting. Barely. Some of the states are starting to do it. So get this link, find out about it, and see how you could take them. Every state has it. The income requirements are pretty high on this, and it's also weatherization and all kinds of things for home fix-up. Make sure you know about it, because it's just starting, and you don't want to be at the end of the line when that starts up. Okay, also we have $50,000 to help you start a business if you just got out of jail. That's right. Biden is doing so many programs now for ex-offenders, because we have more ex-offenders than, we have the biggest jail population per capita than anybody else in the world. So this is a big cadre of people. So he's trying to make it easier for them to get businesses, to get jobs and things like that. So look at that link, and it'll tell you the kinds of things that are available. Okay, overdraft fees. Man, the banks are charging you millions of dollars in overdraft. You're late on a payment on a check you didn't cover for $10, and they charge you $50 or whatever the heck it is. That's gone. Or if they're charging you, I have the websites there. Go to consumerfinance.gov and file a complaint and get the Marines to come out and make them play it right. Also, saving $800 per year on prescription drugs. New pharmacy thing. And again, if you don't apply for this, because a lot of this is for senior stuff, you go to needymeds.org again, and they'll show you how to get free prescription drugs, okay? And the best thing I think Biden has eliminated consumer debt for student debt for your government loans for school. He's forgiving so many of that. So find out what you're eligible for. And the websites are there, studentaid.gov. And there's two things you want to look at. One is the payment plans, because some of them are zero payment plans, and then all your thing just disappears. Then there's 4 or 5 other programs of forgiveness, and see if you category one of those. It's like what kind of job you have, or your college was full of baloney, and you can get rid of that debt that way. So make sure you investigate both of those and get on the phone and ask. And this is what we're trying to do at Let's Go Help, is teach people how to live in the current society. And it's using the telephone and not so much the internet. Internet's good, yes, but it doesn't get through the bullshit, because there's so much bullshit on the internet. You need a Wade, what do those call you? Those boots that you have to go fishing, that boots are up to here. The polluted waters on Google are so polluted with sharks and scammers and everything. You got to be careful. That's why go just to websites that I give you that show .gov, G-O-V, or .org. ORG are nonprofit organizations that already got the money. They're not getting money from you. Government won't get money from you except the tax guy. He just gives money to you. So that's what you want to do. And then also with Let's Go Help, we started making money, and I don't know how the hell we did that, but we're giving it back to members. So with our members, we give out over $75,000 every month to members. That's every month we do that. And it's very easy applications. You just write one sentence what you need the money for, and we give it. We have 4 different grants. You can apply for all of them. You can win all of them. but only once. I'm just looking, this blue and this green doesn't go very well together. I think I'm a little color blind or whatever it is. But having fun, and that's what, and everybody in Let's Go Help seems to have fun, because members are now helping members. We have, like right now, I think, when is it, 7, oh, it's 9 o'clock. Well, it's 7 o'clock tonight. One of our members is showing everybody live on a video where you can ask them questions about how they got their money, okay, and what they have to do to get it. Now, that's great, I think. That's better than me. I'm a esoterical kind of person who's trying to educate you about this, but they actually got it, and they just got it recently. So that's why you learn from them a lot better than me sometimes. So that's why we have a bunch of them every day, almost every day now. We have people that are live like that, and I go live and answer questions all the time. So that's why it's a community of community helping people and showing the love for each other, because if we don't do that, man, it becomes a hard, tough life. And I think life makes it a lot easier if we start trying to love each other more, giving and helping. And boy, I know I do it because I'm selfish. Because when I do that, I just feel so great. So that's why I'm not giving. I'm a selfish son of a bitch.